What? Trees? Hi guys, welcome to Rootstem and welcome to this 11th edition battle report. It's going to be a little bit crazy today because we're actually going to be doing a mission from the 500 world set. It's me and Steve's got a campaign going. It's going to be the Planetary Assault. That's the one, isn't it? Yeah, I'm looking at him. He's nodding. He's like he's on camera, but no else. He's nodding, yeah. Planetary Assault. Basically what's going to happen with this. This is a custom layout, by the way, so don't look for this in any other Games Workshop paraphernalia, but this objective here, the same over there, yep, and then this one here, Steve has got to hold off against a moving forward Crimson Fist Crusade force. We're playing 1,250 points. I know it's a little odd, but it is a Crusade game, so we've made a hybrid using Crusade rules on his own 500 worlds. We started this in 10th edition. We're going to continue doing it in 11th edition. So if you want, follow me. We'll go and have a look at some armies.
So with this being a bit of an unusual game, the forces are going to be a little bit strange. These are Crusade detachments, effectively. We've tried to modify them a little bit for the 11th edition of the game. And we have several fleets roaming around on our Crusade, on our 500 worlds. I'll do a separate video regarding all of that if people would like to see it. But starting with the Necrons, as you can see, Stephen has chosen 1,250 points out of his allocation. He does have slightly more, but these are the units that he's currently using. I've put, if you have a look, I've put the experience points of each of the units next to every single one of the actual units themselves, and of course we've got enhancements on there, especially for Lord Blinky, who is the Overlord, with Translocation Shroud. Yeah, I always get it wrong. It's Cursed Legion that he's currently using. It is 2 detachment points. We are counting 1,250 points as an incursion game, so we can't have any more than that. And then we've got Lord Blinky's Lich Guard, which is his bodyguard. Both of those two, of course, have got 1 experience point, and the enhancement of Destroyer. I can't say that, and I'm not going to because I'll murder it. We've also got Lord Leonard I. He's the Locust Lord, with the enhancement of the Mark of the Necrosaur. We've got Leonard's favourite boys. I love the names on these. Which are 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers. Now, for some reason, it's saying they've actually got 1 experience point. They haven't. They've got more than 1 experience point because they have the skill Spectral Disassembly Targeters, which basically means that their ranged weapons equipped have ignores cover ability. So, yeah, they're going to, with our Exterminators, they're going to be quite deadly on the battlefield. We've got Lord Slashy the First, Scorpec Lord. He's going to be leading some Lord Slashy Slashers, which is 6 Scorpec Destroyers with 2 Plasma Lancers. Again, only a couple of XP on each of those. We've got the Harry Hexmark, which is 1 experience point with Hexmark Destroyers, and of course Herbert Hexmark. And what I actually know what's happened here is that for some reason the 6 victory points, the 6 experience points is on the Lone Boy Riders, should be on the Leonard's favourite boys, because they're the ones with the Exterminators. Funtime Pals, the Flayed ones, they've just got an experience point. The Lone Boy Riders, I've got the Course Destructors, and we have Lonely Larry the Third. And the reason he's Lonely Larry the Third is because previous games he's been destroyed twice with battle scars, so he's been destroyed and resurrected multiple times. We also have 3 Obsidian Destroyers and some more Scorpec Destroyers in the form of a Stinky Slashers. Crimson Fist Crusade forces a total of 1,225 points. I couldn't find anything to try and match up those 25 points, unfortunately. We do have Librarian Fane in Phobos armor. He has the enhancement of the Blade Driven Deep, allowing a unit that he's with to have infiltrators. He's going to be accompanying the Reavers squad at Skullwatch. No particular skills on that one, but we do have 4 experience points. We've got Apothecary Kovac. He's going to be leading his Infernus Marines into battle. Hopefully be able to resurrect some frontline boys. We've also got Squad Villador, which is of course Intercessors. Their Sergeant Villador has got +1 attack and +1 wound because he has got the skill Terminator Honours. And the other squad of Intercessors has got 3 experience points. No particular skills as of yet. Squad Hail with 3 eliminators, and Squad Villabound, which are of course 5 infiltrators. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to be hanging around much longer, to be honest with you, because I'm not really impressed with how infiltrators work in this game. Outrider unit, which I've not given a name to yet, and the scout squads of 10 scouts, currently just on 2 experience points. Storm Speeder Thunderstrike to try and get rid of any heavy armor that he would have. It doesn't have any armor, so that's not really going to play well in the actual game, but it can cause quite a lot of high damage, so it might be able to be alright against some of those Scorpec destroyers. And then of course we've got 3 suppressors in Squad Skyhammer and Rin's Answer in the Whirlwind. By the time I recorded this is before the drop on Warhammer Community, so I am aware that the suppressors and the Whirlwind will be going away to Legends. So we have deployed our little Crusade forces on my side. The Thunderstrike, the suppressors and the Inferno ones with the Apothecary, they're in reserve. On Stephen's side, it's anything that is a mounted destroyer unit. That's pretty much in reserve. He always puts them in reserve. He doesn't like them. It's a good way to get them up the field. So down here we've got the scouts, we've got the eliminators, we've got the infiltrator squad, it's a unit of intercessors, and of course the Whirlwind, and then another unit of intercessors with the captain with the Terminator Honours and the bikers. And right in the middle of the board we've got the librarian with the Reaver unit. There's a reason I've done that. I'm trying to see what I can do. Now I've kind of had to go far back because Steve has got the ability to move advanced charge, and with these things, with their enhancements and everything else, they're pretty much going to be able to get across the board. So I'm trying to slow it. I'm trying to make sure I don't get turn 1 charged and then lose about 4 units in the process. Down here he's got his flared ones. He's got his guard with, what's his name again? Overlord, rightio, with Translocation Shroud. There we go. Some destroyers here with a hex mark. Sphidians. Another hex mark down here, and some more Scorpec destroyers with Lord. They're a big unit. They're going to be hard to take down, especially with 3 wounds apiece, and me only having piddly rifles. But I've got a lot of precision, so hopefully take some characters out before they get a chance to do much. Now, normally we go, right, let's roll for first turn, but if you read the mission, there's no first turn on this. We're going to go straight into Steve turn 1. So first turn of the game, Steve is being incredibly cagey, making me think he was going to come hurtling towards me. He's then gone, no, I'm just going to sit here and wait. It's like, you swine. So all my units are too far back to really do any form of offence coming in here. These have grabbed hold of the objective. I think they're 2 OC apiece, so that's going to be a level of 8 I've got to try and wrestle control of. Not quite sure what their OC, what's their OC, yeah. Just 1. So I might be able to do that, depending. And then, of course, those lads have just decided, yeah, I'm just going to go and sit on this objective. Now, there is a countdown timer. If you had a look at the mission, Steve's got to try and get these countdown timers to 0 to get the mission, so the objective is then destroyed or activates, and then it means that he scores points. I need to get onto them to stop that from happening. So if I control the objective at the end of the turn, which is, it's always done at the end of a battle round, and he's gone first, so it's always going to be me that's got a chance to drop on the objectives. It's going to be difficult for him. So this is going to be, it's going to be interesting to try and see what's going to happen regarding holding on to these objectives. I have a chance to up the numbers, but I've got to control them first. Right. That's pretty much it for his turn. So, turn 1 movement phase for the Crimsons. The Scouts have gone into reserve, but they cannot ingress this turn. So that's a new rule in 11th, which I forgot about. But it's fine.
These guys, yes, they're at the top because they can move vertically as well as horizontally because of grapplers. They're ready to take on some guys down here. I made sure I'm more than 12 inches away from these dirty hex marks with Overwatch, because you can't target that unit unless you're within 12 because of a librarian. The bikers have smashed through that woodland and they're ready to try and take on some of these guys, possibly trying to shoot them up as best as I possibly can, because I can't take the objective off him because he's got too much OC on there. So let's see what I can do. They are my for the moment target. Some more intercessors have moved up in the middle and down the left flank, and of course the eliminators are shifting. Try and see whether or not I can get some nice line of sights onto both of these objectives to kill some characters. Yay! Let's go into the shooting phase. So I've done a little bit of shooting, managed to cause a wound on here with the bikers. More successfully over here with the librarian, managed to take out 2 of the destroyers with some bolt pistol effect going on as well, so that's not too bad at all. Down here I am now going to launch the whirlwind. I can see them, however Steve has played Images of Death for stratagem, meaning that it's -1 to hit. So not only has it got the cover, it's also a -1, which will knock the whirlwind down to 5s. Thankfully unmodified 1 to 5 doesn't miss because of the bikers that I can see. So we're talking D6 plus 3 plus 2, so D6 plus 5. Ah, damn. 5s to hit then with no ability to reroll because it's an indirect fire shot. I do get 2 of them, which is great. And I think it's going to be 2s because the strength of the weapon, getting a +1 because of for a moment target. I roll a double 1. Fantastic. And Steve has rolled his battle shock. He's passed. I didn't manage to kill any of them. That's a bit of a shame because I thought the whirlwind might have done a lot better then, but that CP has really hindered me. Right, so he's down to 1 command. Oh no, he's used his commander's ability. So commander, the Lord's ability. So we've got some charges going on. Roll for charge on the bikers. Oof. So we've checked that 7 is a fail. I need an 8. Going down to 1 in the command points. And I've still failed. That's a bit of a shame. These guys, however, roll 9. So the Reavers have gone barreling in down here. Steve has elected to save the CP and not heroically intervene. Probably wise, it was about an 8-inch charge. So, well, before I did the pile in, it was about an 8-inch charge. So these 5 guys are going into these, needing 3s. Bit of a terrible hit there, needing 4s to wound. 4 wounds at -1. Is that 4 dead? Oh dear. So, unfortunately, the librarian failed to kill the last guy. I've tried to surround him. Just before we continue, I can't remember if I've told you at the beginning of the game or not, but we are playing in the Exoflora jungle, the alien jungle. And the twist that we rolled basically meant that if anybody did a fallback move, they had to do a desperate escape, and if they are battle shocked, they would desperate escape. They would fail on a 1 to 3 rather than 1 to 2. So falling back from combat is going to be very hazardous in this game because of all these little monsters that are wanting to munch us up. Right. So this is now going to go down to 3. That's now going to go down to 2. That stays still because I am holding it. It might go up to 3. And it doesn't. Oh well. Steve has been cagey once again because he needs to hold these objectives. A lot of people would fly forward. I've got a lot of rapid ingressing units. Well, I've got a lot of, not rapid ingressing, but I've got a lot of ingressing units that could literally, because I just need to be on the objective at the end of the turn to stop him from being able to hold it. So here, he's just moved forward a little bit, nothing major. These guys come in from ingress. They're going to be trying to target my bikers by the looks of it. These guys have shifted onto the objective to try and hold it. Some more of the flared ones turned up. I thought that was an arm, it's not. And then these guys kind of move to try and protect as much of this objective as they possibly can, because they would like to, well, Steve would like to charge over there, but then he'd leave a massive hole for ingressing, and that's only 3 inches away. I could jump straight onto the objective to try and stop him. So regardless of what people probably think, he's definitely making sure that I do not grab hold of these objectives. He's making a game of it. I was hoping he was just going to charge headlong like an idiot, but he's not doing. He's being sensible. Oh, he also got his wound back there. He got a model back on 2 there, and he got 3 of those buggers back as well. Right, shooting. So these guys are going to open fire on these. They have got cover because we just checked. He cannot see all of the models without it crossing over some of these lines. So it's going to be 5s to hit or 4s?
So normally hit on 3s.
Normally hit on 3s.
+1 to hit.
+1 to hit.
So I'm hitting
2s.
on 2s.
And then +1 to hit because of the enhancement on the guy behind him. So it's 3s again. Oh, before you do that, Armour of Contempt. It is a minus on that gun, isn't it? Yes, it is.
So it takes the minus off.
Takes the minus off. I need to try and survive as best I possibly can. Quite a few hits with the sustain because he's sustaining on 5s and 6s because he's being led. That character needs to go down. We're looking at freeze to wound with rerolls on the 1s. A lot of 1s. Reroll of the 1s. So 14 wounds. Looking for freeze. That's pretty good. So the round of shooting has taken a biker out. Down to 2 on those. Not looking great. Okay. This unit is going to decide it's going to charge. Steve is going to see whether or not... He's going to let the dice decide his fate on whether or not he charges the bikers. Go ahead, sir. No, 4 inches, that's definitely not in. Steve's declaring these to charge. He's using a CP to add 2 inches to their charge roll because he knows what's going to happen. Go ahead, sir. And that's a 4, making it a 6. He's just in. So down here, we've got some combat going on. So down here, Steve has played Methodical Murder to give him sustained hits. I have then played Armour of Contempt just to try and see if I can survive a little longer. Have you got your attacks ready, sir?
Yes.
His Tray of Doom. He needs freeze, and he gets to re-roll failed. Yes. That was a 5. So out of 12 attacks, he's got 13 hits. Needing freeze to wound, however, no re-rolls on these. Ooh. 7 wounds. Dropped 6. Pretty bad drop there. So 7 wounds, but I need 4s. Depending on what that dice finishes spinning on, just tell us. That is going to be nearly all of the Reavers dead. Correction, that is all of the Reavers dead. And some wounds on the Librarian. So Libby's on his own with 2 wounds left. He's going to fight now into the flared ones. Flared, I always call them flared, right. Strength of 6, so looking for freeze. And -1, sir. Doesn't matter about the damage because there's only 1 wound apiece. Kills 2, but he's got 2 to fight him back. So he's below 50% starting strength, which means that Steve's special ability will kick in. This is going to be painful. 8 attacks, needing freeze.
3, 4, 5, 6,
I've done that wrong. All of them are sustained hits. I can't remember blurry them. 4s with rerolls. They're really good at picking a unit off these guys, aren't they? Whoa, man. I mean, that's what, 7 saves I've got to make already. So 11 saves are 4+ needed. Well, I can see several 1s already. That's not going to happen. So a lot's happened in my turn. Turn 2 for us. Everything's coming onto the board. I need to try and get it. These guys turned up, overwatched by these destroyers, lost 2.5. The bikers are going to try and get in. These guys over here moved up, did an advance to try and get some shots off down here. They're still the for the moment target. These only move 3, so 4 of them can see, meaning I'm going to be able to get heavy, negating some minuses. They spread out, try and stop any more ingresses, and of course stood still. The snipers move forward, trying to see whether or not I can actually try and get some hits. This 15 inch is really doing me in. And then down here we've got the scouts and the suppression team trying to have a look down here, and then he's kind of backing everybody up because he might be able to see quite a few different units this particular turn. Fingers crossed I can do some damage. So over here we got the Thunderstrike, I think that's what it's called, the suppressors, oh they're going to be suppressed, and the scouts firing into these, only managing to kill 2. So I've decided the Whirlwind is now going to open fire. It's going to open fire into those guys over there. It's going to need 4s to hit, so it's D6 plus 3 shots to start with. Again a 1. 4s to hit because of indirect that can be seen by the scouts. That's 3 hits. It's going to be 3s to wound. Oh my good God. The amount of 1s I am rolling today is insane. Go ahead, sir, with -2. Yeah, it's 2 damage. So it's flamer time. These flamers are going to fire into the Lich Guard. Steve has played his Noble's ability to be able to play strat for -1. So, of course, he's played -1 to hit. Now, it's not going to work for the flamers, but everything else that's shooting him, it's really going to come in handy. 3d6 auto hits with the flamers. Sod it. CP reroll one of these. And it's same. 3s to wound because of the +1 to wound for open moment target. 10. That's not too bad. That's going to be 7.
Is it 1 damage?
Yeah, -1, 1 damage. Ooh, that's quite a few.
Terrible.
So I've just done the rest of the bolters. We've managed to get them down to 5 models plus the sergeant, and then of course resurrection orb time. Go ahead, sir.
I'm assuming I can't re-roll that.
No. So you get 1 back with wound. So a little bit of death. However, I need to get onto the objectives, and there's a good chance he'll resurrect if I don't get onto the objectives. So I'm going to do some charges. So the only charge I managed to get was the bikers. And then we managed to do some damage. Unfortunately, we clapped back from that strength 10 minus Brazilian Warglaive, whatever he is. Yeah, that really hurt. So he managed to wipe me out. So I've still not managed to take the objectives off him. So unfortunately, that objective goes down to 2. That one goes down to 1. And that one goes down to 1. So Steve's movement phase has been long, and you know, that one where you got to think a lot. So the Lich Guard managed to pass their test. All of his units, none of them's battle shocked, and move forward. Are they Obsidian Destroyers? Ophidian Destroyers. They're deep struck down here after coming off at the end of my turn to try and hold more of this objective, and these guys have moved up again to try and hold more of this objective. I overwatched. Killed 1, that was it. It did resurrect 2 in his turn. Down here, the lads decided that they can't really abandon the objective. They've got to try and hold it as best they possibly can, so creating a screen to make sure that the scouts can't just walk on. They're probably going to charge, and fingers crossed, able to come back on the objective. However, if they don't, they've made sure that this Deathmark Destroyer has ran his little legs off to try and make sure that you can still hold that objective regardless. But they are pinned due to what happened last turn with the shooters. Down here, these 2 guys have decided that, you know what, we need to take out this flyer. And then he has gone into the trees to try and do exactly the same thing. So first off, shooting wise, is Lonely Larry Locust hidden in those trees, shooting out into the speeder. It is in cover, so he is going to be hitting on 4s. That's gone on the floor. Weirdly, it's a 5, but it doesn't count. It's a 6, it's a hit, and it's lethal. Stripped 6 wounds straight off it. Stripped it down to 5 wounds remaining. These 2 are going to aid Larry the Locust. He might not be Lonely Larry tonight. Tell you, he might get some action. You never know. They ignore cover due to a skill that they've already got during the actual campaign. So they need freeze. This is going to hurt. 2 hits. Strength.
16.
Need freeze. One of them goes through. I can't stop it because a huge -4. It's a downed vehicle. X-Mark Destroyer next. He is targeting these guys down here.
Twos to hit, because he's a twat. Yay! Double one. Fantastic.
He always drops.
Now, strength 8, because he's a destroyer unit.
Strength 8.
Twos to wound. Oh dear. Wow, that is a flurry of ones there, sir.
Always does that.
Minus a 2, so looking for 5s. I should stop rolling in that. But I rolled down here, what have we got? Still dead. So one's gone down. So the locusts. I suppose they are. No,
Yeah,
locusts, yeah. These locusts. The leader and one of the guys is going into these, trying to reduce them down to nothing. And the other lad is shooting into the intercessors. And predictably, they have gone down. Especially when it's strength 8 hitting on 2s, re-rolling, all sorts of crap. Right. They're in the same to the intercessor squad this side over here. Again, 2s to hit because the +1 for the enhancement. Oh, well, he doesn't re-roll this time. But 5s, see, that's the thing. 5s and 6s, that's what's doing me. If you want the 5s and 6s, his last one, we've got no 6s at all, but lots and lots of 5s. Ooh, salty. Salty beyond words. 2s to wound. Yeah. It's lovely when you're facing insurmountable odds, isn't it? 15 saves needed. So the end of the shooting is looking kind of grim. We've got some charges going off now. Now Steve, in the shooting phase, did spend the CP on them to be able to shoot and charge. Now, can't shoot, but if he spends it in the shooting phase, it means that if he needs to re-roll the charge for whatever reason, he can do. Right. Rolling. Who are you charging with first?
Just roll with your fitting destroy, see if they can get in anywhere.
No problem. Well, it'd have to be a 9, which they've done. So down that side, we've got everybody in. Down this side, we've got everybody in. He did try to get, because he went on top, he had to go down 2 and then across. He would have needed 11 inches to get to these guys, and he managed to. He rolled a 9, so he could have gone that way, but he decided, no, I'm going to hold because I need to try and hold that objective. It's true. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to do a lot in my turn 3 here once this is done. Let's crack on though. So this combat kind of looks like this, and as predicted, they're all dead. Down here the combat might be a bit more interesting. We've got 2 people going into the squad of 2 left, and then these 2 going into those guys. The 2 going into the 2 first then, sir. Threes to hit. Oh, I did spend. Oh, Steve did spend a CP with the score packs to sustain, so we can't do that over here.
Strength 8.
2s then. It's strength 8.
3 at minus 2.
Saving on 5s. So 1 wound on those 2. Normal guy attacking the larger squad to start with. 2 hits. Needing 2s.
2 minus 2.
Kills 1. 4 attacks from the Lord. 6 attacks from the Lord. Could wipe the squad here. In fact, he can't wipe the squad because I've just remembered my rules. So the skill of Terminator Honours has saved the Marine. Let's see what happens when they fight back. So starting with this lad here, going into my oath at moment target, 3s to hit. That's all hit. 5s normally 4s because of the oath. Just 1 wound. He's got somebody on a wound anyway, no AP, so 3 up save. Alright, saved it.
Is it not power fist?
Power fist now from that squad of 2. 3s to hit, re-rolling. And 8, strength 8, so 3s to wound, 4s to wound, 3s to wound again. Right, these are minus 2 and 2 damage apiece, sir. Kills 2. And the Terminator Honours veteran. He only hits 3 times. Needs 3s.
Gets 2 of them. Again, we're going to be on some 4s here. Kills the last Lich Guard, leaving the captain alive. It's not looking good for the Space Marines at this moment in time. Our house rules for Crusade is you have to do 3 full battle rounds before you can abandon. And I might be abandoning, but let's see what happens in my turn. So in my movement phase, I passed all my battle shocks. However, tried to fall back there with the guys with the icon, and unfortunately failed the desperate escape because of the terrain rule, the twist. And then when I failed the desperate escape, he died, and I also got a battle scar for the unit, which I'm going to have to resolve later. Lovely. So I've moved in a way to make sure that I can't be shot. I'm going to start off by using the CP with ease, onto them, into him, grenades. That'll be 3 mortal wounds, and then they're going to open fire. Opening fire with these guys. I'm going to need 4s as a recover, because he is infantry, weirdly. I've not shifted me up at moment target actually, so I can re-roll them. There you go, 6. Toughness.
5.
So looking for 4s. So that'll be 4 saves of -1, sir. So needing 3s. 2 go through is down to 1 wound. These lads over here then are going to have to fire into this guy just to try and take him out if I can. Minus for cover and +1. 3s to hit. Oofed.
Is the back... Sorry, Paul. Is the back guy in 15?
He is within 15. Strength 5. So 3s because of oath. Now, because I had to move to make sure I couldn't get overwatched, that is not devastating. However, these are -2 and 3 damage apiece. He's failed 2, so it will kill him. And if I'm honest with you guys, with that will be the end of my turn. And of course, that's the end of a battle round. It being Crusade, we do allow people to fall back. So I think the Marines, before I get any more deaths, kills, and I've got 3 battle scars to roll, before any more of that happens, yeah, I'm kind of been knackered on this one. I think I'm definitely going to have to fall back and go, which unfortunately for the 500 Worlds campaign means that Steve is going to be able to get some bonuses on this planet. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see more. I'm going to try and have more different types of battles rather than the regular Warhammer 40k battles on the tabletop, and we'll see you in the next video.